part of this is going to be learning some new routines and new things to be safe, isn't it?
Without a doubt. One thing that I've been able to try and manage to stress, it's easy from this seat and still 11 days out, but it's just patience. Patience for the players, for the coaches, for the administrators, for the umpires. It's going to really, everybody, this is it's a new routine. It's a new normal. I know that's somewhat of an overused phrase, but I think that these are protocols we're going to have to adapt to as we go along for multiple sports. And baseball and softball are just ending up to be the trial run for this. As we're the only state that plays sports in the summer. So as they get going, those first 2 weeks of practice, there are going to be some new routines, some new sanitation, some new transportation guidelines. And I just, I hope that everybody has a little bit of grace and patience for everybody else that's involved, because I really do think people are trying their best, but we're coming out of a very long period of time where no one really had a routine, and now we're just going to try and sort it out on the field.
Well, we've had a little taste if you've gone to a store or gone shopping when things have opened back up. We've got a little bit of that with, knowing you have to wear your mask and staying the 6 feet apart. And it's a little different in these team sports because you're out there and you want to, congratulate somebody in a big play or something like that, and so you just it's more of you want to be together, but you got to adjust to the proper way to do that, don't you?
And now there's guidelines saying you can't high five your teammates after they hit a home run. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a learning process. And I think that it is important to stress, up to a point that you just need to be aware of what the people around you are comfortable with and what you're comfortable with as far as taking on risk. And that's going to magnify on a personal level and on a school level. And I just think that it's not business as usual. And it's going to be a large change for everybody, and we all just need to buckle in.
You mentioned a little bit transportation issues. That's one of the questions I've heard from some people is like, especially the smaller schools, you all load into the bus and you travel because you sometimes have to travel a little ways. But what kind of things are you doing there? Is it, parents take the kids or the kids drive themselves, or, what kind of adjustments are being made as far as that end?
Yeah, that's been the biggest question I've gotten from ADs over the last 24 hours. And understandable, they want to start to plan some of those things out. We're going to have more specific guidance on that coming out early next week. The guidance that came out from the Department of Education yesterday didn't really address it too specifically. But fortunately, our office and the Girls Union office, we met and had a webinar with the National Federation of State High School Associations. They have a sports medicine advisory committee, and they issued a 16-page document with protocols and policies. And we're trying to implement some of those and run those by the Iowa Department of Public Health. Make sure it's all hunky-dory for all parties before we sign off on everything. But that's going to look very different from whether it's a bus seating or a van seating, or if it's practice, people bringing themselves or just having immediate family members drive them. But I hope that's a rough guideline of what we're looking at, but some specificity will come out on that next week.
And the same thing, with the stands. And one thing about baseball and softball a little bit, fans are used to kind of sitting around the fences at times and watching it. And I think everybody understands the needs in the stands to, social distance. So it would seem like, and being outdoors, maybe it's a little easier, I don't know, in trying to get that social distancing part of it down for fans, isn't it?
I think that was the belief from the Department of Public Health, with their guidelines saying they didn't want people to really use bleachers, to limit the use of those, and then have people in chairs or standing around to try and increase that distancing outside of, your household unit or the people you've been interacting with this entire time. So we're definitely going to have to address that as well, especially with the news that fans will be allowed, it sounds like, from the get-go. We'll obviously announce that if there's any change, but that's going to be an adjustment. Even though it is an outdoor sport and people say there's plenty of space out by the fence, I know people want good seats too.
Yeah, everybody's always inching in to get behind the plate or wherever it might be, or all along the fence and that. But so let's talk a little bit about the schedule. And I know it's still, there's a lot of schools and different talk on things, but any idea on what type of schedule, how many games, what it might look like at this point?
Great question. So we've heard from regular season scheduling is up to schools, and we've heard a number of different options on what schools and conferences are going with. Some have already determined out some round robin schedules or divisional schedules or even localized schedules, as opposed to driving an hour and a half or 2 hours and taking on teams from multiple counties. They've adjusted their schedules to just take on schools within, a certain radius. There's some of that. As far as the schedule on the athletic association side of things, our plan is to have the postseason start as it was previously scheduled, and the state tournament at Principal Park as it was previously scheduled. Now, are we going to get there? That
$1 million question.
That is the very expensive
$64,
question.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
exactly right. So that's scheduled from July 24th through August 1st. We'll see if we get there, but that is the plan. And as of yesterday, with the talks with Principal Park, they are planning on having us. So that's what I can tell you today.
Well, and they're, they don't know if they're going to play in that, and so it's
Correct.
not like if you had to move it, you had to work around their schedule of games at this point, because that baseball there on that level is still up in the air too, isn't it?
Contingency plans for everything, Dar. That's the that's been the name of the game, and so that's the plan today. But if we need to develop something else, or we're looking at maybe a multi-site event, that's been in the discussion for the last couple months.
Okay. We're talking with Chris Cuellar from the Iowa High School Athletic Association. We're going to take a break here. We'll come back and we'll ask him a few more things as we look to move into the baseball and softball seasons finally here in Iowa. We'll take a break and be back with more after this on CISN.TV.
Central Bank opened its doors in 1877 and has been proud to call Iowa home ever since. For more than a century, our family-owned business has worked hand-in-hand with friends and neighbors across the state to make their dreams a reality. Come visit us at our new location on Hickman and Waukee and see how Central Bank can make it happen for you.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and it's a great time to start getting your backyard ready for summer. At Fireplace Superstore, we have Iowa's largest selection of outdoor furniture. Poly furniture, wrought iron, aluminum, wicker, also barbecues from Weber, and the best umbrellas to keep you shady. Fire pits to keep your backyard warm. Everything that you need for your summer here in Iowa. Come see us now, Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale.
MidAmerican Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right, you decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to CISN.TV. I'm Dar Danielson, and Chris Cuellar from the Iowa High School Athletic Association is joining me. We talked a little bit about the state tournament and schedule, and usually you kind of get the rankings through the season as they move on, and will that change a little bit in how you look at the games and how the teams come in and who's what and where as far as the scheduling for the postseason?
Yeah, without a doubt, Dar. Usually June 15th is the day that we send out some initial sub-state and district assignments and putting some of those teams in pods. And that will be the first day of games if all goes according to plan. So that process is definitely going to be different for how we map things out. You're probably looking at a much more geographic tournament than maybe separating the powers like we have a little bit in the past. And I feel pretty safe saying that that's going to be the way it is on the girls' union side of things as well. They produce their own rankings. We just utilize rankings in some of what we do. So we're all going to sort that out as we go in terms of when those release dates are and who might be playing who.
Oh, it's always good to have a challenge and have a new challenge every day you come in the office, right?
I agree. I just don't necessarily want to see Valley, Dowling, Waukee, Ankeny, and Southeast Polk all in the same substate. So.
Yeah. And then let's talk a little bit about umpires and officials. And we know there's been an ongoing, even before this pandemic stuff, of trying to recruit in new younger officials. And we also know that sometimes the older officials may have more concerns about the pandemic. And, you know, I'm assuming the officials organizations, you're going to talk with them about that and how you get the officials in and how you deal with that, aren't you?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've been in touch with assigners for quite a few weeks, just trying to gauge who would be available in different parts of the state, and it really varies. Some assigners have said, everybody I have is good to go, regardless. And then we've had other locations say, a lot of people are 50-50. I'm not sure what it's going to look like. That might be one of those things where we just need to be patient with some of that umpire availability. And if that changes some of the regular season scheduling, that's what's going to need to take place because it's an unusual and shortened season for everyone, whether they can get umpires or not. But you gave me the pitch, so I'm going to hit it. We're always taking new officials. We're looking forward to adding one. So if you're an official, every official adds one or coach adds one. We can really boost our ranks. So that's IHSAA.org/officials, and you can register there.
Well, and this has been a good time for some of those athletes who are maybe coming to the end of their high school career and they've had to sit on the sidelines and they kind of miss the sport. And it's a way you can still be involved and still give back to the sport and help the sport by being official, can't you?
Without a doubt, and a way to get paid, and a way to stay close to the action. And you got the best seat in the house, and you get out of the house, which maybe during the pandemic is maybe the top highlight of everything. So we absolutely need umpires. We need people who love the game to be around it. For high school, college students, registration is only $25. For veterans of the armed forces, it's free. We waive all fees. Yeah, we would love as many people who'd like to register and are interested to take that on.
Well, I know I'm kind of in both the news and sports realm here, and I don't care what it is, whether it's opening restaurants, bars, casinos. There's a split out there. Some, no, let's shut it down and wait, and then others open it up right away. And I think decisions have been made to move ahead. And I'm assuming you get the same kind of thing in sports, don't you?
We knew whatever decision was going to occur was going to be divisive, whether it was yesterday or later this week or even next week. There's definitely no unanimous feeling on this. And even when we met on Monday with the National Federation, as I mentioned in the first segment on the sports medicine, with that committee, different states feel different ways, and they fully understand that. And so I think it's really going to be subjective from here on out. Yeah, I knew there'd be some people celebrating, and then there's going to be backlash, but that's just the way it goes.
And then I think I've talked with other people about this. We say, well, it's just activities and sports, but you go to these small town communities. I've said you drive through and you see the lights over the town at night, and it's a baseball game or a softball game, and some people are even driven to go watch it, even though they may not know the kids in the team, just because it's a community-centered thing in a lot of these towns, and it's something that brings the community together. And that's something we all need. And moving forward on this is, staying apart but getting together and behind one thing like the local sports team, isn't it?
I think that's exactly right. And the educated opinion and the decision was made in as educated a way as possible. But passion definitely plays into it, and especially at the community level. And we saw a lot of passion over the last few weeks and months to bring baseball and softball back. We are the only state in the country that plays them as scheduled in the summertime, and that just creates a different level of community support and a community engagement. And it's just what a lot of towns do on weekday evenings and for a lot of kids at the junior high and high school age. And I know there's youth leagues that have a lot of questions still lingering out there, but I can only speak on the high school level. And I know a lot of our communities are excited to have something like that, at least the potential to have it back.
We're talking with Chris Cuellar of the Iowa High School Athletic Association. We're going to take one more break here. We'll come back and talk with him a little bit more on what it looks like as we move ahead and finally say play ball here in Iowa. You're watching CISN.TV.
Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee cares. 2020 Silverado 4x4 Crew as low as $399 per month.
Zero down. This is a true sign and drive.
Or get up to $11,500 off or 0% for 84 months. Remember, all pre-owned vehicles come with a 12-month bumper-to-bumper warranty. 2020 Equinox LT, $299 per month.
Zero down. Sign and drive.
Or up to $7,000 off or 0% for 84 months. No payments for 120 days available. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
MidAmerican Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to the CISN Inside Scoop. I'm Dar Danielson, and with me here via video. It'd be nice to see people and not be via video for a change. Stay the distance, but still see him. Chris Cuellar from the Iowa High School Athletic Association. And Chris, I know I've talked to different people. I talked to my sister, and she lives out, and she goes, "You guys are what? You're opening up? We're not, you know," and there's a lot of different opinions, but I think the thing with moving forward, it's still kind of up to the schools and it's up to the athletes and parents on what they want to do, if they want to go forward and participate or not, isn't it?
That's absolutely right, Dar. This is an entirely voluntary process. And one of the biggest concerns I personally had with us coming back was, you know, people feeling pressured to making a decision or pressured to come out or pressured to stay away, either way. And we just want our schools and our student athletes to know, and even our coaches, that the Athletic Association is a member-driven organization. We support whatever our members decide, whether that's on the school level, the district level, the conference level. We support the decision that districts make and schools make to look out for the health and safety of their kids. So we are providing the opportunity to go play under these specific health and safety guidelines and with protocols. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely up to every individual home and family to determine whether it's best for their student athlete to go out there.
And I know the seniors have been talked about a lot, and you know, some of the spring sports are lost, and you know, the high school experience, you only have so many years to do that, and there's nothing else like it, and you can understand why they're torn and whether they want to go out and, you know, play again or if they don't. And because, you know, again, there's nothing else like going out there in the uniform of your school and playing with your kids that you grew up with.
That really has been at like maybe the forefront of our minds as we've worked through this process over the last couple months with all our contingency plans, thinking about the schools and what we can do for them, but the seniors especially, and these high school kids that are missing out on a full year of their activities. Some kids only play one sport and they miss that opportunity. Some kids wanted a farewell or an opportunity to repeat for a state championship or just play with their teammates or be a part of practice, and they're not even getting that opportunity. There are much greater tragedies going on in the world, trust me, but it's important and it's what we do, and we just want to give them the opportunities to do that. So spring sports, we're not going to be able to provide a comeback for that. So summer sports is what it is, and we really want to try and make the most of it, especially for the seniors who to go out on as high of a note as they can.
Parents and that, they have questions. You have a lot of stuff on your website, don't you, that kind of explains things and what's going to happen?
Yeah, we try. I mean, so we have a COVID-19 resource center, and I'm trying to do my best to update that with as much information and guidance as we possibly can. But so you can do as much or as little reading there as you'd like. A lot of it is for coaches, officials, administrators, and some of the student athletes, just to know what's coming next and what's going to be expected of them before they take the field, and what's next. And, that is going to be a revolving door of stuff as we enter the fall season and look ahead.
Yeah, and I know, talk to your coach or athletic director and stuff too. They're, they want to hear and they want to tell you and let you know, because it's getting everybody. We're all in this together. We are, and that's a big part of it, is just keeping the lines of communication open, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt, and just trying to stay up on stuff. I feel like a lot of people are overstimulated. We're sitting in our homes and we're reading and trying to absorb everything. But we're trying to. My job, I guess, is just to try and simplify some of that down and make that relatable for ADs and coaches to try and set them up for success. It's never going to be perfect. There's still going to be questions out there, but those ADs and coaches, they really stay up and they stay on top of it. I can attest to that, and so we'll do our best to set them up.
But I'm waiting for that ping of the bat, the whop on the glove, and those kind of things that you forget how we've taken a little bit for granted, but how important. We say it's just sports, but it is. It's part of the life, and it's part of learning and moving forward.
You talked about routine earlier in the show, and it got me thinking, for kids that, if they get that opportunity, June 1, June 2, June 3, to go out there and practice, take some fielding, take some swings, open up throwing with some of their teammates. That's going to be a really cool experience. Just to get back out there and be around some folks who you might not have seen in quite a while. So I think that really is an essential part of this process.
Yeah, someday maybe the grandkid on the knee. Yeah, the summer of 2020 when the pandemic and and hopefully it's the only summer we have to talk about it. When things can move forward. But some things that they'll never forget.
Dar, I can tell you, I'm not going to forget these last 2 months. From the last week at state basketball to this spring to some of the just bizarre experiences. As we've gone over the last few weeks. I'm really fortunate. I'm healthy. My family's healthy, but it's been a strange experience to watch this all transpire and try and keep up with it from the athletic association side of things.
Well, and we appreciate you guys. I know the girls' union. There is a lot of back and forth, and it's easy to criticize decisions sometimes, but it comes down to everybody's trying to do what's best for the kids and the fans and everybody, and people don't always agree with that, but it's about moving forward as a state and getting things back to normal. We got to do that eventually, and we appreciate all the hard work you guys put in on that, and the Girls Association too, and we just appreciate you too joining us here today for this program to explain it a little bit.
Thank you very much. No, I greatly appreciate the opportunity. There's so much information out there to share, and if we can put a face to a name and try and communicate that effectively, that's what's really important. And thank you for highlighting high school sports and providing a platform for all this. So I wouldn't have this opportunity without you.
All right. Well, stay safe, my friend. Chris Cuellar from the Iowa High School Athletic Association. That's going to wrap it up here on CISN.TV.